Tuesday Tales. There's somebody out there that needs to know you're not alone. You're not alone in your feelings. You're not alone in your joy. You're not alone in your worry. You're not alone in your overwhelmingness. You're not alone in your inability to move forward. And you might not even be alone in the fact that maybe you have your shirt on inside out today. Like me. I got up, I got dressed. I guess it was inside out from yesterday when I took it off and decided not to wear it. I take Amos to school. I mean, I was like, this is going to be great. We were having a good morning. We got a new satin pillowcase. His hair wasn't like a nest. And then I go to the coffee shop, and Linda, who I love, is very smiley, more smiley than normal. And like literally like this. Hey, Adrian. I was like, oh, what? Look at there. She thinks I'm wonderful. She was like, your shirt's on inside out. Damn it. And you know what I decided? I'm going to wear this shirt inside out all day long. I'm going to wear it to church tonight inside out. And my 13-year-old is going to go crazy because it's going to be embarrassing to her. But I just want people to know you can have your shirt inside out. It's not that big of a deal. And keep it inside out. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. You're on the struggle bus. It's okay. It's just what it is. I got up and got on the scale and weighed 158.9 and decided that because I didn't weigh 159, I should go get a chai tea latte. It's my what was that? Is that a cat? Oh, no. Something. That's life, right? And you know, I struggle. I called a friend of mine this morning and I said, you know, I have a problem and I just need to talk about this out loud. I struggle making all these doctor's appointments for 4 children. It really is like a hindrance for me. I think about it. It bugs me. It's almost like exercise, right? Like, you know, you need to do it and then it just hangs over your head. And she was like, I don't struggle with that. I've never gotten why you go to the doctor so much. So why do I go to the doctor? She goes, I mean, I don't know, but you're always wanting to take somebody to the doctor. And I got defensive and then I was like, maybe she's right. I mean, I make well check appointments, eye appointments, the dental appointments. I mean, I feel like we hadn't been in forever. I got to make those. And you know, when you call, they're like, well, we don't have an appointment for 9 months. Oh, they love that Facebook likes to tell you to join my video. I guess they're thinking that I'm like waiting around for somebody to come on and talk to me. You're on the struggle bus with a rude teenager. Ugh. Anyway, it's tricky, this thing called life. But tonight, one of the biggest wonderful things about today, my bra straps are falling down, is that we have the pancake supper at church. I'm real excited about that. And I've just responded to an email that I was waiting to respond to. So the email said this, and anybody can, this is nothing like against my church or anything, but this is like a general life message. This happens all the time. Do you ever get asked we need volunteers. We need you to be the volunteer if you want to have this program. Well, to me, it's like saying, we would love for you to come to our cocktail party, and I'm going to need you to make 8 dozen pigs in a blanket. Well, then suddenly I don't want to go to the cocktail party. No thanks. No cocktail party for me. So the church thing is like, we want to have a children's program. Are your children planning to come? Oh, and we need volunteers to run the children's program. So every email, I'm sure somebody's going to give me a mean look for talking about this, but it's funny. every email says, my children will not be attending the children's program because no one wants to run the children's program. And honestly, there's a children's program. It's like 3 hours at church. I mean, at that point, you might as well have just like had more kids. I mean, to be trapped in a room for 3 hours with small children. So my email was, Amos Engel will be there, my 9-year-old with autism, because he is, at 8 o'clock, we're getting ready to go to bed. So one of us will stay and one of us will take him home. My 13-year-old will be there, but she will be playing Ghost in the Graveyard with friends or Foursquare on the basketball court. And because I'm sort of a fan of people not having contrived set activities all the time. Like, I think it's okay. And years ago, that's what happened. Ain't nobody planned any children's program. It was, if you're that small, you can go to the nursery. And if you're bigger, then you can go outside and play with the big kids. I mean, welcome to my life. When I was small, I was like locked out of the house until it was time for dinner. So I'm sure there are some people that'll be like, I'm not comfortable with my children being outside. I am comfortable. Me comfortable. Very comfortable. So anyway, I'm just going to I might be willing to die on that hill. You have to pick hills you're going to die on. I don't die on very many. But that's one that I feel kind of strong about. I think it's okay for kids to sit around and do nothing. Maybe it's not 3 hours. Maybe it's 5:30 to 8. Maybe it's 2.5 hours. Maybe it's 2.5 hours. But I also think, I think some people don't want children there. Maybe they're disruptive. I don't care. I live with Amos. I mean, you want to talk about disruptive? I'm disrupted so often that I don't even know what to do with myself. Our church has what I call Baptist boot camp. Okay, that's awesome. I think kids should be busy. I don't. I think kids can use an hour to play basketball, and it's called Wonderful, Wonderful, Wonderful. It's not even being bored. That's what they want to do. Last year, they had a children's program. They found some poor devil to run the children's program. And then my children spent their whole time. I'm going to hell. Lord, forgive me. My children spent the whole time hiding from the person doing the children's program. And then the person doing the children's program caught my children, rounded them up, and took them into the room. And then one of the children bit her lip and was bleeding. And then she said she wasn't allowed out. And then the nice teacher, who was very nice to offer to do the children's program, said, I'm having the children's program and the children will not come to it. And I said, well, I'm not going to make them because I am not a fan of the children's program. I think they should be outside getting some exercise. So I'm not the person to come to. We have Sunday school. We have EYC. We have lots of activities where the kids are constrained. But I just put my foot down. And no parent wants to do the children's program because all the parents are teaching Sunday school. So at this point, you got to find other people to do some work. Hey, Carrie. Carrie Cariello, my friend. Go over there and follow her. Her son, she has 5 children. 5. Carrie, I'd like to know how you make appointments. But her husband's a dentist, so she doesn't have to make an appointment. That's the one that's the hardest because you got to get it 18 months in advance. Anyway, but there's just a thing here. We have mothers that are working more. We have, at our church, like at some churches, Vacation Bible School is a big thing. Well, the people that run Vacation Bible School are like in the sweet spot of no kids, but they're not too old either. So they, I would say, are probably in their 60s, 70s. They love Vacation Bible School. That age group at my church, They do not love Vacation Bible School. They like the kids to go to Vacation Bible School, but that crowd is traveling. Episcopalians, they ain't running Vacation Bible School. They're traveling. Maybe they're volunteering in other ways. They're playing canasta. They're playing hand and mouth. They're celebrating Mardi Gras. That crowd ain't coming to do Vacation Bible School because they're going to say, well, we did it when we were your age. Well, my crowd, half our moms are teachers. Well, those devils have just gotten out of school for, I don't know, 40 weeks. They're like, I don't want to do Vacation Bible School. And then other people are like, well, hell, I teach Sunday school. Do I have to do that too? And then there are people that don't work, and then they're called to do everything. Well, at that point, they might as well work and get paid. These are problems. Get Mr. Bitts to run the children's program. I'm sure Mr. Bitts would be glad to be. Mr. Bitts, we would love for you to come to our church, and you can be in charge of the children's program. Get these kids what they deserve. You got a good sunburn. I do not. Well, I did get a teensy bit of sun because I'm on this antibiotic for a sinus infection. I mean, I feel like this has been the sickest winter on the planet. I mean, ugh. Sick. But anyway, that's all I got. I got nothing else. So today we have the Murdaugh trial starting up again. The defense started. That's going to be very exciting. Oh, your youth group and leaders plan to cook the pancake supper. That's what we're doing. So yes, our youth minister is amazing. And we don't have a priest right now at our church. So that's kind of... So our vestry's working really hard to make everything happen and trying to do everything and be everything for everybody. That doesn't always work. So we are doing the pancake supper. And then tomorrow night I'll be on Kate's page. Yes, I'm out of Facebook jail. They have let me have ads back. I don't know why. I was in Facebook jail. They never would tell me. I could never even get to a real person. So annoying. But anyway, new supporter here. Yay, Jody. I just put up my subscriber page. What else do we have? We have Carrie and Kate's video tomorrow night. And then we have... oh, I know. I'm going to do a big talk on the waiver for families that have children with disabilities. And then we're going to do a teenager talk because that's exciting. I always tell people, don't volunteer me. What time tomorrow? Tomorrow at 8 p.m. I think 8 p.m. Eastern or Central. I'll have to check. So this morning I read this article, and this is a different topic, but I thought this was kind of interesting. So there's this place in Florida, and it's called Key Biscayne. Key Biscayne is an island that's about 7 miles long, and it's very posh. It didn't used to be posh. So my grandparents retired there, and it's an island off Miami. So it says Key, but it's not really a key. It's an island. So the keys, in case you're wondering, all connect together. So when you go from Miami to Key West, Key Largo, Islamorada, those are all keys. And they connect. Key Biscayne is a pretend key because it's an island. So Key Biscayne it's a pretty posh community. And there are people that live there, parents, and they have children that are not always the most well-behaved. Not everybody, obviously, but this is... So one problem they have had is kids all have these electric bikes and electric scooters, and they're riding all over the island on the sidewalks. And the police have decided they're not going to have it anymore because it's dangerous. And is that Goose a subscriber? Yes, he's from the Children's Arts Council. He's my friend. You know how Tom Hanks has that friend in Castaway? That's my friend, that Goose. So anyway, the police started this thing a week ago and said, we're going to give out tickets, $75 tickets. You cannot ride a bike, an electric bike, or a scooter on the sidewalks. It is dangerous. Yes, there was Crandon Park Zoo there. I used to go too. I probably rode on the back of somebody's bike on a sidewalk. Buster is the first witness today on the Murdaugh trial. So anyway, it was, oh, you were at Salem when I was there, Carol? You just missed me. Lord, I tried to do choir, and what was her name? She let me in there, but then I realized you had to stand up for an hour and a half to sing every day. I said, I quit. I've always been lazy. But the parents are all going crazy because they want the children to be able to ride around on the electric scooters and bikes on the sidewalks. Does that seem odd to y'all? It seems odd to me, and I'll tell you why. It's called entitled. Entitled. And I don't even know if I would have felt so strongly about it, except when we were down in Key Biscayne. So now my parents have retired there, and they spend about half the year there. My mother, we were on our golf cart, my mom, and we had taken, God, now you're going to make me turn on the TV. We had taken Blair to do something, and we were leaving the shopping center, and there was a stop sign, and my mom stopped, and then there was a sidewalk, and then you would pull out to get out on the main road. Well, she stopped, and then she pulled forward. Well, she missed, or actually the child missed her. A child was on an electric scooter and came inches from running into her. And it really scared me. My mom is in her 70s. She's very youthful and young and obviously can still be driving and doing all sorts of stuff. And I said, Mom, that child on the bike. And she was like, I know, it's a real problem. The police have had trouble. And I marched up to the police department and said, I'm a parent. I don't live here, but my parents do. And I would just like to say that I really support you in what you're doing because this is really dangerous. If my mother would have hit that 8 or 9-year-old and they had been killed, it would have ruined my mother's life. Ruined. I just cannot tell you how that would hurt her so much. So I hope parents will think about, you know what? It's not about my child being able to ride their scooter on the sidewalk. It's about, what about the person that hits them? And it's not going to be their fault, but they're going to live with this grief forever. And you're not going to have your child anymore. You behave. The Ritz might disagree. Oh my gosh. I mean, just because I go over to the Ritz-Carlton and take a dip in their pool, I mean, that's not going to kill anybody. It's drama. Anyway. Yeah, I think it's, and I think we hear a lot about entitled children and entitled parents. So the police they put an article out and they were like, we are getting more calls from enraged parents over this law. And it's like, I don't understand as a parent of 4 children, how I could possibly think that was a bad idea. I guess because now they've bought these electric bicycles, which are a fortune. You don't see any in my town because nobody has money for one, FYI. But now they've bought these expensive things and now maybe they don't feel like they have a place to ride them. Well, you can ride them in the street when you're 16. I mean, hello. Anyway, it's just really disappointing to hear these, to hear the families not, it's very disappointing to me that the families can't stand by that. I had an older friend that hit a 4-year-old and died. Yes. I mean, that's just awful. No, you don't want to do that to anybody. Trial is in recess. Coverage resumes soon. Oh, Tamara was joking. I know Tamara. People and toddlers on golf carts, no seatbelts. Yes, I would highly say you need to be in a seatbelt. Our rule where we are is you have to. So is your shirt on inside out? Well, that's what started the whole video. So the shirt is inside out.
And when you come across a very wet, red, crime.
Oof. Wait, it already started 55 minutes ago, the trial? You have an e-bike that can go 35 miles an hour. So an e-bike on a sidewalk in a small community is dangerous. But parents don't want to tell their children no. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I mean, my children are not perfect. They're not. And nor am I. Nor am I. But I just saw firsthand, like, boy, this really could have been a problem. But you have parents that just they can't get past. I mean, we heard yesterday, or we heard a couple days ago, but I read about it yesterday, about what Brian Laundrie's family, so his mother had written him a letter. He's the one that killed Gabby Petito, remember? And he went home in her van, and her parents refused to answer the calls from her family as they were looking for her. And her family's lawyer came out and said, there is a letter that his mother wrote to him that said, I will bring a shovel and help you bury the body. Just stop with that for 1 minute. You offer to take your child a shovel to bury a body. Nan, I don't think you are subscribed. Maybe Facebook unsubscribed you. It's so annoying. So my husband came on and talked about the Murdaugh trial the other night. It was really good. But people, I love when I say something like this and people will say, well, you don't know what you would do until you're in the position. Yes, me do. Me not offer to help bury any bodies. Nope. No siree, Bobby. Nope. I do know. It's always the people that tell me that are like helping their children bury bodies or like giving them guns or something. Yes, this is my new fashion trend. It's called don't worry about what you look like. And if your shirt's inside out, just carry on, mofos. Well, that same behavior is the same behavior of you can ride your scooter on the sidewalk and to hell with everybody. It's the same attitude. You are more important than everybody else. You are more important than everyone else. And on the letter, she wrote on the envelope, burn this after reading. Well, Brian Laundrie's lawyer is saying that was written at another time. Written at another time? There's no date on the letter. So you can't prove that. And who writes that? I ain't never written anybody and my children a letter and telling them I love them so much, I'll get a shovel and help them bury a body. What? So what the defense for the Laundrie family says, this will make your like blood boil. The Laundrie family had no responsibility towards the Petito family, according to the law. Even if they knew she was dead, it wasn't their problem. But you know what? I don't want to live in a country where people say things like that. Yes, that's right, Becky. Brian's parents knew the entire damn time and were aiding and abetting their son, thinking about the bubble they live in. Right. No, he didn't kill another person. It's just Ethan Crumbley. Here we have a child who is killing animals, and for his 15th birthday, we're going to get him a gun because that would be a wonderful thing. And when Ethan Crumbley's parents saw on the news there was an active shooter at their child's school, the first thing his dad did was drive 90 miles an hour to his house to look for Ethan's gun. And he couldn't find it. Most of us, if we heard there was an active shooter at our child's school, we would call our child and say, are you okay? Are you the parent that thinks it's probably my child? And if you are, you need to acknowledge it and get some help. And you certainly don't buy that child a gun. You don't offer them a shovel. Anyway. And these people exist. These people exist. These mothers exist, particularly the mothers. Mothers have a real hard time acknowledging that they've done a crappy job. And I always say, I am not going to acknowledge I've done a crappy job because I have worked really hard and I will stand by my efforts, but I will also say, well, it didn't work out. Entitlement is a universal phenomenon. Doesn't belong to one socioeconomic group. Alexander, maybe it's just more apparent in wealthier groups because there's money behind it. You know? Ask to join. Leslie, so subscribers, it lets you come on and be on the video with me, even though we're not doing that today. Parenting is hard. I mean, it is hard. And I fail at it on a daily basis. It is hard. It is hard. You know, I don't have any money. Well, I love to send somebody $20, which I did this weekend. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to give you $50. You have 10 days until your allowance. Here's $50. Well, your allowance is $100. Honor, shush. And I'll forward you some of your allowance early. Well, I don't want it because then I'll spend it. I said, okay. Then I suggest you just go eat some cereal. You know, I mean, you just can't, you can't always, anyway, it's hard times. It's hard times. I did have one child, though, say, well, I got to get my job lined up for the summer. I'm going to need money. Right? I mean, that's what you got to do. My 17-year-old doesn't have a car. Granted, he's off at school, but he wants a car. And there was a while there, he was like, am I going to get a car? I would like a Bronco. I was like, no, you're not. And I think he finally got it. I said, honey, I'm really not kidding. Like, you're not getting a car. You're getting a plane ticket for your study program. You know, yes, we're going to count a plane ticket for an education program as a present. This is important. This is important. Yes, you can ride non-motorized scooters on the sidewalks, but you cannot ride bikes on sidewalks. I don't know if there's a rule for small children. We were talking about what's happening in Key Biscayne. Shovel to help bury a body. I know, bingo. So speaking of entitlement, we're going to go watch the Murdaugh trial this morning. It starts at 9:30. Subscribers, I'll see you in a minuto. And my subscriber page is kind of a smaller group and we have a conversation. And then they get to pick topics or have my husband come on and talk to us. He said this morning, well, I have my own trial starting today. I bet your people would really like that. So my subscribers, he wants me to go and follow him around for a day. Carry on.